most points the Colts team has scored in the first 3 games of the season since 1958. What's working for this offense right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I think obviously we're running it well. JT, had another big time day. I think huge credit to him and how he's been playing, and then the guys up front, and they're blocking, and the run game's been big, and then guys are getting open, making plays in the pass game with some explosive plays and stuff down the field. So I think a lot of credit to the guys up front. I think it starts there in the run game and the pass game, and then playing off of that.
You guys have been playing at a really high level for all 3 weeks now. Have you expected things to come down to earth a little bit, or it seems like there's really been no weak spot in the offense so far?
Yeah, I think we certainly expect to play at a high level. I think every time we step out there, every time we get the ball, we expect to execute and go down the field and score. So, no, I don't think the expectation changes at any point, whether we're playing, regardless of how it's going. So, yeah, I think that stays that way, and we'll see. There's still things we got to clean up and work on. I think still, some missed opportunities, things that weren't as sharp as they should have been, and we'll go back, look at that, and clean it up.
Did you clock the first punt of the season?
Did I clock it?
Yeah, did you kind of like go, Shane said he was kind of pissed. Shane said he was kind of pissed. Because of punt.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think Rigo had an N10 there, right? He got a good punt, so happy for him. But yeah, I mean, should have converted the third down, honestly. But yeah.
Shane mentioned that you're really all in the film, always trying to search for answers. So how obsessive are you, and when do you cut it off, or do you cut it off at all?
I think each week's a little bit different, but I think you're always working to find something that could help you when you get into that situation. I think Shane's very similar. I think something that's impressed me here. I think we got a smart football team and a lot of guys who can handle information and kind of know what to expect going out there and then execute. And I think when you have smart guys, you're able to continue to tweak things later in the week. And if you come up with something or you see something, the coaches do a really good job. Hey, let's make this little adjustment here or that, and guys pick it up well and execute it on Sunday.
Shane told us privately on Friday he was really excited about that ISO play that you guys scored on. Did you guys feel like that had a chance? And what was it like from your perspective to watch JT run that?
Yeah, that's fun to watch for sure. To get those, those are always nice. I wouldn't call myself a run game expert in terms of the scheme and how that's all game planned, but we got coaches who do a phenomenal job with that stuff and getting everybody ready to go. Tony Sperano, Tom Manning, all those guys that do the run game stuff are locked in, and if they say it's going to be good, then it's probably going to be good.
They haven't asked you to do as many design runs as maybe you did in New York. Obviously, you made plays with your legs today, but is there something to just kind of going about picking apart the defense and not having to worry about 8 to 10 to 12 carries?
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly willing and feel like I'm capable in the run game if when it's needed. I think that's still part of this system. We've had success, doing other things, but every week's different, and whatever's called for, whatever the coaches see opportunities with, I'll certainly be ready for. But I mean, when you got JT running it like he's running it, let him run it. I don't need to get in the way of that.
Daniel, you've been able to avoid sacks quite a bit this year. Obviously, you had the big run today, but just how important is that for this offense to be able to avoid those negative plays and kind of stay on schedule without the sacks?
Yeah, I think it's huge. When you look at a lot of the statistics and how you evaluate likelihood of scoring, I think those negative plays are huge. Drive killers, and having just one of them in a drive can really hurt your chances. So I think we've been doing a good job with that. Big credit to the guys up front. I mean, the offensive line, obviously that's where it starts, and then guys getting open, and my job to get the ball out on time. So I think that's all everybody working together, but starts up front for sure.
Then you have the run and pass sort of played off each other. I mean, you guys have not been shy about throwing the ball down the field aggressively and often, but also running for a lot of yards with efficiency. How are they playing off each other right now?
I think just trying to take advantage of what the defense is doing. helps to have a lead, when you have a lead and especially in the second half, and then you can run the ball and hit some explosive runs. And, it's been, fun to watch that. Today you get up and then the second half, JT hits a 40-yarder or whatever it was. I think that's huge. But, yeah, I think just being able to do both keeps the defense on their heels. They've got to defend both.
You mentioned that you and Shane are pretty obsessive about football. So if you all away from the facility, how long does it take for the other to respond if you send a play to each other? Is it a long process, or is it okay? Is there ever an off time, or I gotta?
I don't know. I mean, it depends when, but yeah. I mean, the head coach texts you should respond pretty quick, right?
Getting that pick six just to start the game, what did that maybe do for both sides of the ball?
Huge. Yeah, I mean, huge to start the game 7-0. Big time start. We talked about having a fast start, coming on the road for the first time, and making sure we're forcing the issue, starting fast, and then for him to make that play was big time for us. And on offense, that's a great feeling. You haven't touched the ball yet, and you're in the lead. So yeah, big time play.
With Jonathan doing what he's doing right now, how much easier does that make your life as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot easier having being able to pop those explosive runs, and then in the red zone, he's done a great job finishing in the end zone. Yeah, I think the ability to run it down there is huge, and he's done a great job. What's that? Yeah.
When you hear the home fans turn on their own team and you're the opponent, is there a blood in the water type of mentality that happens there, or do you even notice that?
You notice it for sure. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think when you hear that and sense that, try to take advantage of it, and